So I want to go back into library one more time and just show you what kind of things that you might consider doing in your library. If I want to put a quiz into my video somewhere, I'll split the screen and I'll highlight everything and move it over so I have some space. And then I'm going to use something I've created from my library, which is just this screen, which I'm going to put my quiz questions on. I give a little bit of instructions. And I'm going to drag my quiz in for this particular problem. I can move it around if I want. And then I'm going to add something else from my library. I'm going to add, I'm going to add this pause video. And notice I'm just stacking it up on top in my timeline. So I can remind the students to pause the video. I use pause video quite a bit because sometimes I want the students to pause and actually try something for themselves. So I've made a little pause video button that I can just stick in on any timeline that I want. And so maybe I'm like, I want you to pause here and see if you can't figure out the next column on your own. And then hopefully they'll pause the video. So I use the library for anything that I want to reuse again, mostly annotations. Transitions are interesting, but they have to go in between two frames. So here I have a title frame, and in between the title frame, then it flips to the other frame, which is the video. So you can put something in between, and you're just going to drag that, and so that when it transitions from one to the other, it does something cool. So it just makes your students think that you're cool, I guess. So those are the basic ones that I want to cover. The last one I really want to cover is animations, zoom and pan. The zoom and pan I use quite a bit. Let's say at some point in my video I want to really focus in on something. And notice I'm doing an example here, but I don't have an example. I'm not working the other example at this moment. So let's say I want right here to focus in on that part of the screen. So what I can do is I can zoom in using this new screen, and what it does is it creates this little arrow. Let me show that a little bit bigger to you. Okay, so if I go back and I play the head, now there's audio here but I turned it off so you wouldn't hear me talking twice. It just zooms it in, and so the students can actually see what part of the video that I'm actually talking about. If then later in the video I want to go to the next problem that I'm working to the right, maybe about there, I can't really remember. I'd have to be a little bit more careful about this. So at this point, when it gets to the arrow, I'll be panning from one example to the other example. And there it goes. Now at some point, I'll probably want to go back to full screen. So once that part of the video, you want to go back to full screen, let's say it's over here. So then I'm going to scale to fit, and then that will make it go back to its original size. The zoom and pan I like to use a lot. It focuses the student's attention, and sometimes when I'm writing very small things like exponents, it helps quite a bit for them to be able to see. Cursor effects are fun. This helps the students see your cursor a little bit better. It magnifies it, highlights it. Does some awesome cool things there. I'm not going to show you exactly how those work, but they basically work the same way. You just drag them in and you put them on whatever you want to see. The voice narration, this helps if you're trying to fix something. Let's say you accidentally said truth table instead of truth value. Well, you can actually dub yourself over, and it would just mute the timeline if you click this, and you actually restate what you accidentally misspoke in the first video, so you're saving yourself time from going back and doing it all over. I do find that it sounds like dubbing though, so I often just go back and fix it myself. The audio effects, the only ones I've used here is the noise removal. One of my computers hummed, the battery hummed, and the video would pick up on that, the audio, and so I would just drag this and it would remove the background noise, which was really cool. There's some other really cool things you could do. We're not going to cover all of those. These are some visual effects that you can do to make it really quite cool. Again, you don't need to. You can still have a high quality video without all these things. This is kind of a lot. The interactivity is where you can add a quiz. I don't use this because you can't actually get grades from it. But what you could do is if you added a quiz here and they got the quiz wrong, then it would automatically direct them back to whatever part of the video they need to rewatch. And then closed captions here. I don't like these closed captions because I have to write them in myself. I prefer doing that in TechSmith or in YouTube because they'll automatically do it for me, and they're actually better than they used to be. And so I don't use this either. But I still make some pretty good videos. If all you use is the media bin to drop in all your things, your items, the library to create, when you create some annotations, that you can save them in your library. And then the other thing is the zoom and pan. If you just do those few things and maybe even some cursor effects, you're going to create some high quality videos for your students. And once you feel confident in all of your editing and you like the way it looks and you're happy with it, you're going to need to save it. Now when you save it, it's going to save as a TSC proj file. That's only readable by Camtasia, but you want to save it in the Camtasia file. So you're going to go to File, Save, or Save As. This one I already had saved originally, so I didn't have to type it in, but this is what the kind of file you're going to have it in so that you can read it in Camtasia. Now after we do that, then we need to transfer it into an MP4 file. So we're going to render the video and then upload it to some host site in the next video.